Hi, everybody. It's me here. It's Bob, and Bob Saget's Here for You is the name of my podcast. And this is an episode that I treasure. And this was recorded right before the tragedy of George Floyd and the horrible injustice that befell upon him. And it's with a friend of mine, this podcast episode, a wonderful man, Jim Gaffigan. And if you follow him, if you look at him online, he's been very clear about his feelings that are in like with mine, which are of compassion, of pain, of caring. And we were going through a lot of conversations about quarantine and what it's been like. And he's been continuing to try to make people happy and record his dinner with the Gaffigans and put that online and do it on CBS This Morning. And he's just such a funny man and such a good man. And if you follow him at jimgaffigan.com, you can see all the stuff that he has that's coming up. He's a great actor. He's such an amazing comedian with so many specials. And his tour, of course, is on hold right now. And this was recorded, again, right before the tragedy that we've all been feeling and going through. And so it was really about quarantine and how we've been coping with that. And we were feeling the caginess and pain that everyone was feeling through that. And then, of course, this other shoe dropped, which is incredibly beyond tragic. So with that in mind, of course, I still want to run this episode because there's still love and unity and feeling caring for all souls that are out there in the world going through whatever pain they're going through. So with no further ado, that is an expression in show business. Here is my episode with my dear friend, the wonderful Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, it's such a weird experience. It happened so quick, right?
Right. I had to cancel Canada the day before. I wasn't going to do it. I was still going to do the gig. I'm a warrior. I'm going to be there. What did you have scheduled right when the shoe dropped?
I was doing a tour, my first tour of Latin America, which I was in Bogota on my way to do a show. And my manager was like, Argentina closed their borders, so we're not doing that show. When do you want to come home? And I was like, well, I should get home soon because I don't want to be quarantined away from my family.
Right.
And so there was that kind of scenario. But yeah, no, I was in Bogota. But I was in Spain the last week of February.
Yeah.
And I thought, and it was pretty, like in Spain, there was stuff that was canceled, but it was like people were still going to shows. Like, I just thought that it was going to be this precautionary thing but I feel like we're still at the beginning of it.
That's what, people are saying, experts are saying, and I believe most of them, if not all, that we're not halfway through it. I wish I could say we were halfway through it, but they say we're not. So it's tragic. We'll never see it again until the murder hornets show up on our doorstep. Or I thought it was germ warfare. I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was bizarre. Wow. But I mean, you're meant to be out there with the people. I mean, I remember years ago when you said, we had a conversation maybe 25 years ago, when you said, I'm not going to do clubs anymore. I just want to do theaters. And you built this from the ground up. You went and created a theater career, which obviously you're one of the most notable people in stand-up on the planet. But do you remember what that transition was like Because that,
Yeah, I mean, I remember, initially it was my manager's idea, and I didn't think it was realistic. But when I started doing theaters, I realized there were people that were going, I mean, this is all, ceased to exist as we say this, but I realized there were people that would go to a theater for a show that wouldn't go to a comedy club, because the comedy club culture, which has changed a lot.
yeah, there's some good ones
in
now. There's some more theatery type ones that with chili
But
fries.
and there's people that run great comedy clubs now, but like it used to be, if you went to a comedy club, your date wouldn't want to use the bathroom. You know what I mean? So it's like it's gone a long way. Because a lot of comedy clubs, as some of them started off as strip clubs. You know what I mean?
Or the one in Cleveland was a chicken slaughterhouse.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and then they, through the 2000s, they all got super nice, like Gotham. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how some of these businesses are going to survive. It's like,
well, Live Nation and AEG have said till the end of the year, we're not doing a thing,
yeah.
But clubs are probably the first that would open because it's less attendance. But some of the clubs now are 500 seats, 600 seats, and they're clean. And they would do the whole airplane spraying. But are you going to fumigate the employees? And are you going to have social distancing? And that's not a show. You don't want an audience with masks on, and you don't. What are we doing? I mean,
yeah.
But you found. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's just, that's why I say it's at the beginning. It's like, I don't have this expectation that it's going to happen this year. Do you know what I mean? Even like comedy clubs, or it's going to be a very crude version. It's going to be, a little bit, it's probably unfair, but like the people that are protesting, open up our state, those people are going to want to come to comedy shows. And also, I'm in New York City. Like, people in New York City they're like, you can go outside. You know what I mean? Like, there's the friends that are like, dude, just go outside, go for a walk. And then there's the friends that are like your hypochondriac friends that are like, don't open a window. And you're like, don't open a window. And they're like, people are sneezing as they're walking by. And you're like, yeah, they are sneezing as they're walking by.
If they sneeze from the floor above you, from the balcony. Yeah. I mean, air conditioners drip on you.
Yeah. So it's pretty a baffling scenario. But I don't know. It could be a good year or two. But what do you think of these Zoom comedy clubs? Like, God bless them. I hope it works for them. But I just think that's the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
You're 100% right. And we're not going to try out new material online.
Because it'll just get recorded.
That's the end of it. And I don't mind doing benefits, because then you're talking to the camera and you're going, I did that one, Comedy Gives Back, to help comedians affected by COVID-19. I don't know that many comedians. It was to help them financially, people maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the camera, and you do your couple COVID jokes, or not jokes. You're just talking to people, and something comes out because that's how we talk.
Yeah.
But I don't see. I mean, you find different avenues. I mean, here I am, but I plan to do this podcast before at the end of the year. I just wanted to do it because I was upset with all the anger in the world. I had a strong tour. I have a new hour, which is just sitting here floating. I'm sure you have all this new stuff that's that's wanting to be told, and get that and have that relationship with the audience, and then there's nowhere to put it, so you store it up. So it just means in time, when it's time to come out, I'll have a new special. You make a new one every 6 months you're capable of making a new special.
Thanks.
Were you on Pale Tourist Tour?
Yeah, I was. And, there is part of me that's initially, I guess maybe the first month, I was like, this is a good forced hiatus. Like when you go on
Same.
vacation and you'll get a week away or 2 weeks away from your act, you come back with a fresh perspective. And you might lose some details, but you'll typically gain something. You'll see something that maybe was a blind spot. You're like, oh, that's why that doesn't work, because I'm coming across like a jerk, and but now I'm, there's also like what is, and I think it goes along with the Zoom thing. What is, because I think there's going to have to be something that's figured out. But I think for old timers like you and I, the human interaction of seeing people's eyes, there is something, even this video conferencing is different from the intimacy of a conversation we would have in Caroline's, mostly because you would have your hands all over my knees. No, but
I can't help it. You're beautiful. People don't know this about you, by the way. And you're always being self-deprecating about your physicality, but your knees are so sweet.
They're nice. They're nice. Well, they have nipples on them too.
Yeah, that's what I'm a nipple guy.
Yeah.
Do you moisturize your nipple knees?
No, they're just natural. They're natural. But it's going to be
one last question about them, because you brought them up, and that's my area.
They're pierced, obviously.
I didn't know you'd pierce them.
Well,
when it gets cold, do your pants show it?
Well, sometimes they'll show it. Occasionally I'll have holes right in the middle of the knee on my pants. And sometimes putting on pants when it's cold, that can take some time.
Oh, that could rub you'd rub
I've
your
torn
nipple,
a bunch of legs.
Your nipple knees raw. You could rub them.
Yeah.
And you could also get for work when you're acting in a movie, and you've been doing quite a bit of that incredibly well lately. It's amazing too. Like a few careers, you're watching people, and it's just their year. It's just the launch is happening. You have a bunch of things converging right now. I mean, I just read that you're going to be playing the president of Canada. Is that accurate?
Oh, the mayor. Yeah, I don't know
the mayor
when
of Toronto.
Well, it's like, I don't know how that snuck out. I mean, it's, as you know, it's like there's all these things in development, right?
Right.
But there was this guy, Rob Ford, who was, comedy fodder. He was the mayor of Toronto who smoked crack, right? And he eventually passed away, but he was like, pre-Trump, he was a unique kind of populist that really kind of penetrated, kind of intellectual, fancy Toronto politics. Not that, Toronto's super fancy, but it's an urbane center. And he won mayor, and he was a populist, similar to how Trump was. He had his own kind of slogan, but I didn't think they were going to announce anything, because the show hasn't, we have a script deal, and, we went and pitched, before the pandemic and all this, but it's still a long, it's like, I would love to do it because he would be such a great character to play, but
right.
It's, as it's like, there's a big difference between like a script deal and you're shooting a show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're not in pre-production right now.
And,
or not even, you can't even location scout, but you could theoretically start to board something in February. You could, we could, I guess, depending on how Toronto is looking, I guess I could go up there and shoot it, but because it is weird. There's also, New York and LA, it's done, right? It's done till the end of the year. Theaters are done till the end of the year. Well, they're just, they're opening up some in LA. Garcetti was on CNN and was talking about it. There's things that are going to start opening now. cautiously opening, but I don't think people can do it. I think they go right there. I don't think they want step 2 or step 3. I think and in New York, my daughter's looking out her window and showing it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not, they should be inside. What are they doing? They're 1 foot apart, and
Yeah.
poor homeless people.
Well, it's unavoidable in New York City.
Yeah.
It's like also people that go to a beach. It's like, how are you going to, if you're going in the water and anyone else is going in the water, you're going to be close. If you're at some, look at me, like I know anything about beaches, but if you're in like Orange County, you're going to be if that's the only beach open, everyone in Southern California that wants to go to a beach is going to be there. So it's like, how do you do the social distancing? I don't know. But I don't know how they're going to do a TV, how they're going to shoot a TV show or a movie, because a crew, there's the guy, like there's the DP, and then there's the guy, the dolly grip, and then there's like even someone with your props. Someone hands you a prop. It's like that's social distancing. You know what I mean?
It's going to require bots. It's going to require preset cameras, and all you can do is waiting for Godot. That's like all you can do. You could just do it like a 2-man show or a relationship show or something.
Or all green screen, right? Maybe if it's all green screen.
Starring just weather people.
I saw a thing where this was on the news, where they were going to quarantine a whole film crew, including all the actors. So if you quarantine everyone for 14 days before, but then you'd probably have to pay them. So you quarantine 100 people, you get to a location, then you could maybe shoot a movie with them. And
you have to test them all. It has to be blood tests.
Yeah.
So it has to be a $60 million movie to be able to afford to pay all the people before to lead in.
Yeah.
So there's no low budget things getting made unless it's done by young people that don't care.
Or it's 3 people. People are shooting it on there. Because, by the way, that's one of the things that I've learned through this time of never-ending quarantine, is just similar to how you're doing the podcast. And I know you mentioned you were going to do it before, but I'm kind of just doing videos and posting them on YouTube because
it's wonderful.
Thanks.
It's one of the few things that I go to that make me feel great. Dinner with the Gaffigans is just, it's nothing but, Jim, it's love and it's family and where else are we getting that? And you're not doing a reality show. That's not you. It's
right.
It's a comedian, person, human being trying to make people feel better and give everybody something to do at home as well.
Yeah. Because it started as a distraction from the news. And also when I was coming back from Bogota, I was like, there was a reality where I was going to be quarantined away from my family. And we know a bunch of comedians that are single that go in and out of relationships, and they might be quarantined by themselves for all this time. So I thought, you know what? Maybe it's not the highlight of their day, but maybe they can have dinner with my crazy family and it can serve as a distraction from that. But it's weird. It's one of those things where I really want to jump ahead, 20 years and see how we interpret this time period, because there's the politics, but there's also like, you want to be a decent person, you want to be a good person, but like, there's also like, are we going to be embarrassed of our behavior? Like the people that went on spring break, it's like, again, they're in their 20s, it's like, what are they going to do? But they're going to be like, I probably shouldn't have done that in 20 years. But this whole thing, because it's like, here we are. It's like I've done these CBS Sunday commentaries. I'm on my 8th one.
It's great.
In a row.
Right.
Oh, thanks. But like, can you believe that? 8. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like we've done 50 dinner with the Gaffigans. I mean, that's like 2 seasons of a TV show. Do you know what I mean?
I've been busier now because I've wanted to output, because I want to make people feel good. And if it's funny, fine. If it's heartfelt, so they don't feel as alone. And it serves me because I'm getting something back. I'm getting the exchange. But my God, how's Jeannie doing with it all?
She's good. She's good. With us, it's she had this brain tumor, and following the brain tumor, she got pneumonia. So she's considered technically high risk. So that's kind of an added element of suspense for all this. But to be honest, it's insanely hard because we have 5 kids going through 5 distance learning programs that are 5 uniquely unique. I mean, look, this is our schedule for today. This is just today. And so I'm a slob. My kids are slobs. So it's like there's a lot of cleaning going on.
It's and so here cute. We are. They're cute though.
Oh, thanks. Here we are in week 8. It's like maybe the first 4 weeks I was probably a better helper than I am now. You know what I mean? A certain fatigue sets in.
Oh my God! Just laundry and cleaning, and it's just my wife Kelly and I here, and I've got 3 daughters that are not with me. I miss them terribly. I wish they were here, but I know I'd be cleaning more. It doesn't matter because I love them, but I mean, I'm doing laundry like there's only 2 of us. I don't even understand it. It just doesn't stop.
By the way, it's not like I think there's certain things that you use within your community that you take for granted, whether it's dropping off laundry or just grabbing a meal out here and there. It's like removing those things makes you realize how important community is. Because, like the fact that you can't, the fact that, that I'm doing breakfast for 7 every morning is just insane. And you can't give them cereal every single day. And, and then there's dinner for 7. And again, it's like, I'm not doing anything elaborate, but it's like you're doing dishes for 7 people. And so it's like, we've got a dishwasher, but still it takes an hour.
No, I don't understand how you're doing it. I actually don't. Because we talk about what is dinner going to be. Yeah. After breakfast, you start discussing it. Maybe we'll bypass lunch, but you got to have something maybe. I'm hungry before dinner. Yours is just, you're on a loop.
I mean, your wife is Eat, Travel, Rock, right? So she cares about food.
Very much. She's working on how to deal with the pandemic through what she does on her show and sites and stuff. You know what? We're going to take a quick break. We have to take one quick one, and we'll come back. All right. I am a groomed man. I like to be not hairless, but I'm not a hairy guy. Okay. I'm not like smooth skin, shaved like, some guys that go swimming and they don't want to get, my friend Dave Coulier used to say he shaves his balls for biking. And my joke was always, what do you bike backwards with your ass in the air? I don't understand it, but I understand it's nice to be clean like a whistle. So you could actually whistle out of your butt. If you could, you'd be on, America's Got Talent. But the thing I'm interested in is the Weed Whacker. This is a new product, and it's from Manscaped. And I've talked about Manscaped before. It's nice to be groomed. It's nice to look nice to feel smooth. Late at night, if you're scratching, your fingernail can get snagged on some hairs. You don't want that. You want it all clean and groomed and nice for your mate or for yourself. It doesn't matter. What if you go to bed with a little squirrel or an armadillo or something? Anyway, there is a new ear hair trimmer. You heard me. Back that up. Exactly. It's amazing. You take a look in that mirror and you're going to see ears with hair. That's what you're going to see. Not all over your face, just where your ears are. And in my sleep, I will do it. I'm an idiot. I will put my fingers in my ears and I will pull out hairs. He loves me not. And I'll throw them on the carpet. It doesn't get any grosser. What am I doing? And then I have to vacuum, and I do that because, I did it on TV for years. So you got to do something when you see those hairs sticking out of those holes. You don't want hairs out of your holes. Even if your belly button's got hair sticking out of it, you could use this same weed whacker. I don't know if you should. I mean, maybe you could you don't want to hurt where you were originally cut away from your mom. That little hole's kind of meaningful historically. But it's time to keep your ear and nose hair looking as nice as your clean-shaven pubes. And you could tell that to your mom and tell her I said it. But it is painful to pull a hair out of your nose or out of your ear. And you need help. And the way to get help is that weed whacker. Manscaped has forever changed the grooming game with the weed whacker. And how can you come up with a better name than that? I mean, I even talked to my landscaper about it, to use it on my yard. Actually not. I told him to use it on himself. I can't stand looking at him anymore. He's got so much curly stuff coming out of him. And he liked it. He was happy I did it. In fact, I did it for him. I laid him down on the grass and we spooned, and I weed whacked his ears and his nose, and he's a happy man. And here's the thing. The nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. How happy would all of you be if you could say those words that I just said? Nicks, snags, tugs, and those delicate holes. And I used to say in my stand-up that you be careful late at night. You could go out, walk by a drawer, and you could snag your bag or nick your bag. And I said, that's my new name in Vegas, Nick Bag. So if you see that on a marquee, that's Bob Saget, Nick Bag. But that's not true, but it was in my stand-up. But the premium Manscaped, to get back to the subject, weed whacker, say it with me, weed whacker, it uses a 9,000 RPM motor. I know you wanted to know what the RPMs were, 9,000. And it's powered by 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Do you understand? There's a 360-degree rotary dual blade system. It goes round and round and round in your ear, in your nose. And this amazing weed whacker is waterproof. So just in case your ears just spew water like a fountain, which is possible. If you're sitting on a rainbird, it squirts up your butthole, you spin in a circle, and water's shooting out of your ears, and you're flying around. The weed whacker will make sure they got to clean out for that water. And it makes it easier for operation and for cleaning because it's waterproof, for God's sakes. And the only nose hair trimmer, this is the only one on the market with a powerful and rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use. 90 minutes. You can stand in front of the mirror, stick that thing, that Manscaped weed whacker, in your ear or in your nose for 90 minutes straight. Even once you got it all clean and wax finished, you can just leave it in there and just do that. And you'll have the happiest 90 minutes that you've ever had. And this is a cool thing. You got to remember this. Just remember, 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET, S-A-G-E-T, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code SAGET. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds. All right, we're back. It's great. That's why I love this medium.
Yeah.
So now you can't do what you would normally do, which is you'd be on tour.
Yeah.
Then you'd go, okay, I'm going to have an opening here and we'll go on vacation. And that's fun to plan. That's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you look forward to that. And right now, you'd be out for 3 months, 4 months without stopping right now?
Well, yeah, I'd be, I would be doing, I would have been, I'm supposed to be in Iceland right now. And again, these international shows are not the same as a show I would do in Los Angeles or Minneapolis. It's much more of, a 1,000-seater, which is still great, but it's not like I'm making enormous amounts of money doing it. But it was kind of something that was exciting. So, but typically
Yeah, I mean, a
I
world
would
tour
be,
it's a world. It is exciting. It's great.
and so it would be but like most weekends, and by the way, on those weekends, so like I would leave Friday morning, say I would leave Thursday afternoon. Friday and Saturday, I wouldn't leave my hotel room usually, because I would use that time to write and rest and kind of listen and work on notes about the particular city I'm performing in. And that's been removed. So it's weird, because it's not just the added work, it's the subtraction of the typical creative outlet. Again, it's like, compared to like the front line, compared to people that are dealing with financial crisis in their life, this is nothing.
So many
but
people,
it's a different thing. And luckily I live in a New York City apartment. I don't even own a car, so it's not like I have New York huge expenses. Not that living in New York City is cheap, but there is something about where I don't have to worry about a mortgage. I've already paid for my apartment, but still it's like, I mean, I can only fathom. I look at, these people, the amount of people unemployed, and it's just, and we have friends that work at food pantries, and my wife's brother works at one, and he's like, it's like 10 times as many people as normal, 10 times. And then they're closing down some of the food pantries. So like the food insecurity thing is no joke.
right.
And it's just like, we know that Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And again, it's like in a different time in our lives, it might be a different thing. Like when I was in my 20s or 30s, I didn't have any money. You know what I mean? It was like, I didn't need any money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I needed was like, can I get a piece of pizza when I'm done with my show, where I was paid $8 for the show? Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's weird, because I think comedians, things have changed so much, but initially, no one went into stand-up with financial security as a realistic outcome.
I had no idea I was even going to do it. And then I did it, and then I couldn't stop doing it. And then it just is my hard drive. It just is something that's what we are.
Yeah.
And how do you find an outlet for it now? What are you, yes, you're doing segments for CBS.
Yeah.
You're doing Dinner with the Gaffigans. Are you thinking of any other things you could do through virtual stuff, or you're too busy with 7 kids' meals and the day planner?
It's pretty intense. I mean, I would say that those moments of organization, I am doing things on YouTube, but like there's a lot of emails that I haven't responded to from friends. And I hate those people that don't respond to emails. So I'll panic 3 days later. Sorry, and some of it is.
I do that too. I'm sorry I texted you. It's a bad time. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if you're okay.
Yeah. And so then I will, like the creative outlet thing, it's like, my book agent was like, you should write a book. My wife wrote a book. So like her agent's like, you should write a book. It's like, I can't even, because there's also, and you've written a book, it's like, there's creative tasks that you can do in small bites, but like writing a book is not something you need a certain amount of time to do that.
It's a full-time thing. You need 4 hours a day free.
Yeah. Yes. And you have to sit there and do it right. Even if you were going to do a bad book, you would need 4 hours a day. Do you know what I mean?
Or a picture book, or people that do the books just for kids.
Yeah.
With like 4 words a page. And then it's like on the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite kid of all your children?
It's weird because it's like I get accused of my other kids of favoring, but I'm kind of, it's also during this time of quarantine. There's an intensity. You feel like you're on a reality show, like you're on Survivor.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I don't know, none of them, you know what I mean? It's like, but I do love them, but it's very much a real, it's because what you have to understand, and this, is imagine when you're on holiday break, you're with your girls, they don't have school, slowly their bedtime moves later and later. Okay. So that's happened. And they're also so you want them to have some freedom, but they also have school during the day. They have this. They can't go out. They can't see their friends. How they interact with their friends is screens. And so it's this, so their bedtimes moved back where it's not practical. And, it varies different nights and based on different ages. But it's really, like I should come down and be like, all right, everyone to bed at 8. But like the thing is like, we need that time at 8 o'clock to do some of our stuff. So like we let them go on the screens, and then before you know it, it's 10, and then the nighttime, and then I want a snack and all this. So it's like, it's moving later and later. But if it was normal school, it's just hard on quarantine.
And as it opens up, which is going to be a while, especially in New York City, the hardest hit, you're going to have all your kids and everybody's got a mask on, and they could be bumping into people. And then you get concerned, is my one kid in contact? And then everybody gets it. I just wish it would go away. There's no way to wish it away. But
it's. I mean, there was talk of, maybe we'll all go to California. But my daughter is a sophomore in high school, so next year will be her junior year. So they're doing distance learning. So if we went to California, instead of starting school at 8, she would start at 5.
Yeah.
So,
but that would be her. That would be like she's a morning television host,
Yeah. So it's like she'd be a morning DJ. But so it's like, but the reality is like, even at 16, as a parent, you're kind of responsible for making sure they get up. Do you know what I mean? Like even though she's super responsible, it's like, you got to step up and still kind of like be like, get up, So, and we can't yank her out of the school because that's where her friends are. Do you know what I mean? And we can't just put her in a different school because she wouldn't know anyone.
Right.
And so it's a real catch-22.
But we have to somehow, we have to all stay safe. And there's so many sick people. I'm sure you have friends too that have had it.
Yeah.
I had one friend that almost died from it recently. But then you have to move forward and go, we have to enjoy the now. We can't just be living for 18 months from now when, okay, I'm going to get to go 2 years from now. I'm back on tour. I get to be in movies. I get to do this. I've got my kids are in schools. We can't just pretend these 2 years. We can't erase 2 years. We have to live them and figure out, okay, this is a time where I really, really, really connected with my kids.
Yeah.
And
no, definitely people, there is that.
So there's that. And my question for you, because you're so inherently funny, and that's just a fact, and in all of your material is always, not material, all the things you've talked about have always been revolved around your look at life and your relationship with people and food and observations and your kids and your family. So are there funny things in your day? Are there moments where you guys all have some giant laugh? Does one of your kids or Jeannie, or do you do something?
Oh, yeah.
Are you the catalyst often for?
Yeah, no, well, it's like any aspect of life, right? There's the drama of disagreement, and then there's laughter, right?
Yeah.
And, our youngest is 7. So there is, his first time around the planet, which is, that perspective is just insane. Do you know what I mean? Like, getting, the cleaning, this is also, we're teaching them how to clean and how to do things. So there was a time where he was helping clean, and Jeannie had said, he goes, this spout won't come out. And she said, put some elbow grease behind it. And he said, and then he came up to us later on and he goes, where's the elbow grease? I don't know where that is. So like, there's a lot of
your cliches are lost on 7-year-olds.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of those in it, but there's, it's interesting because I'm on, I'm sure you're on this too, this community thing where I text people.
Yeah.
Occasionally, and they receive the text and they can respond. And I did a text of, hope you're hanging in there. And what's interesting is a lot of people texted back barely. Do you know what I mean? Like, so let's say some of them are being sarcastic and funny. There's a lot of them that are like, yeah, this isn't great. And so they could be intimate, not intimate, but they can kind of text back a certain honesty. So maybe in a moment of, because we isolate with our phones, that's our private time, right? And so they can tell this stranger, Jim Gaffigan, I'm not having a great time, which was interesting.
And they know that they know it was you though.
Yeah. No, they know that they're texting
and that's
me.
What they're getting. They get to say, oh my God, I got a text from Jim Gaffigan today. And that brightens their day. It actually, for some people, not the celebrity aspect of it, but the fact that you've brought them happiness and you made them laugh and they have a connection with you.
I have this theory that like there is celebrity and then there is fandom. Like I think people are Tom Brady fans. Okay. You could be a Tom Brady fan. You can be a Jennifer Lopez fan. But I think with comedians, I think it's a like-mindedness.
Yes.
I think that now that's not to say that there weren't George Carlin fans or Richard Pryor fans, but I think with most comedians, people that enjoy their stuff, it's a like-mindedness. And you'll see that even how people will interact with comedians versus like other people in the entertainment industry. So if Brad Pitt was there or John Mayer, like, when we've done the scleroderma thing, it's like people are intimidated by John Mayer. But like when people see you or me, they're like, oh yeah, I know him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a different thing. So it's a strange, that's just kind of my own personal philosophy that there is. So I don't like the term fan. Now, someone, there are people that have fans.
I hate the term celebrity. I hate that term because that means, I always say it, no discernible talent. You got maybe a reality show because you shot a porn video once and then you became a billionaire. But I'm not thinking of anyone in particular. But John Mayer, for example, who I had on here, he also has a very real, very human side to him, which makes him a special guy. But celebrity, it doesn't say whether you're an actor, a singer, or an athlete. It just means, oh, he's famous. Let's all be famous. It's important to be famous. And some people are using this pandemic to go, oh, I'm going to be a TikTok star. And some of them are, and they all of a sudden they went from, $50 to $1 million that year,
Yeah.
Because they dance all day and they come up with a great TikTok video. I mean, I'm on TikTok, but I'm not going to go through a whole thing. I'll just like move my mouth to a song.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok and I still don't know how to use it. So
you play a song and then it's like the Thunderbirds or Team America.
But do they fix how your mouth moves so that it looks like you're saying it?
You can't be puppeted. No, that would be like an app.
Okay.
That'd be puppet app. We're going to take one more quick break, and that'll be the last break, which is good because everybody needs a break. All right, so this is an unusual time in all of our lives, and this is a product that can really help you through this time. For all of our sakes, we need to avoid crowds any way we can right now, and it's been a difficult time, and I feel for all of you. But what if you need to go to the post office? And that's important. We do need to go. And what if you need postage to send out letters and packages? You don't have to worry anymore because Stamps.com is here to help. It's a really good product. I use it. I love it. It's Stamps.com, and you can print postage on demand, and you skip those lines and crowds at the post office. And plus, you actually save some money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office. And if that wasn't enough, Stamps.com also offers UPS services with discounts up to 62% and no UPS residential surcharges. This is a big deal here. This is something that is incredibly practical and necessary because you want to communicate with the world and you want to send that postcard or you want to send that package. And Stamps.com brings all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your computer in the safety and comfort of your own home, office, or anywhere else you're hunkering down right now. Whether you're in a small business sending invoices, an online seller shipping out products, or you're just working from home and need to mail stuff, Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. And once your mail is ready, just leave it for your mail carrier or schedule a free package pickup or drop it in a mailbox. There's no human contact required because it's that simple. And like I said, Stamps.com, you get great discounts too. 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 62% off shipping rates. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, especially now, and saving you time and money and keeping you safe in these crazy times. So right now, I want my listeners to know that they can get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Bob, B-O-B. I don't know how we came up with it, but just type that in there. That's Stamps.com and enter Bob. And stay safe, my friends. All right. Isn't this the best way to do breaks?
Yeah.
I wish TV shows were like that. Where you TV show when you're on. Have you been doing a lot of talk shows? That's a question during this.
I've done some, which is, it's interesting because, like I did Seth Meyers and I've done the Today Show and Good Morning America because I think they want a distraction from the news. You know what I mean? They're like, let's get this goofball on there. You know, he's in quarantine with 5 kids. He'll complain about it and people will feel better about his horrible life. And I think that it's interesting because, as you know, press, there's a lot of value in doing it, but it is also exhausting.
You have to set the whole thing up. You have to have decent lighting. I'm Ethernetted indirectly. You can't go Wi-Fi. You got to try to do it because the Wi-Fi gets just the moment that you're on the show is like when everyone in the house is on Netflix.
Right. And so, by the way, when I did that Comedy Gives Back benefit, because there's also all these benefits too, right? And there's, can you do a video shout out for these very important causes? And you're like, I don't know how many I can do of these.
Right.
It's easier than, flying to Phoenix and doing a show. But even this visual arrangement, like when I was doing, I don't know if it was the Today Show or Good Morning America, they're like, can we see a different backdrop? And I'm like, really? We're even at this point? but like, there's also finding the right backdrop. And then my wife is like, why are you showing our apartment? You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
what I don't like it either. And then I did a thing on The View, and I went, I'm going to show my fireplace because that says home.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and then I got on to talk about this show, and then I felt the ladies were so heavy. I mean, there's such a heaviness
yeah,
to what's going on right now
yeah,
that it comes with everything. It's just even with Comedy Gives Back, I went on CNN, and they were nice and amused, but to be right in the middle of that CNN and what follows you and what's before you,
yeah,
it's I guess I liken it from what my dad told me to the Great Depression. That's the closest thing where the whole world went through it also. But
right.
but then we're talking 100 years ago when it comes to all the other, pandemics. So we haven't ever experienced this, and we're definitely going to be ahead of the game next time something like this happens. I mean, there will be
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we don't have swabs. I'm like, what? What?
I know.
We don't have enough swabs?
Well, I did a tweet all about how like where's the test? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Let's figure this stuff out. Let's have the government take over a factory, say, hey, we're making tests so that we can start in a certain city, open that city, then we can go around through the country, opening the country. And I'm like, I'm a comedian who talks about being lazy. Why am I tweeting about this?
Yeah.
And I did that. And I'm not saying that it's as simple as like one phone call, but I am intelligent enough to know that it can get done. And so
the vaccine is, I can understand because I understand how test trials work. So I understand that could take longer. But for there not to be a test and there are tests, like I was able to get a blood test to tell me I never had it.
Yeah.
And that didn't make me feel too good because I thought I had it. If you had the flu 3 months ago, did you have the flu 3 months ago and you thought you had it?
When I was in Spain, I don't know. It could be jet lag. Like jet lag really destroys me, which is a problem when you love traveling internationally.
Right.
But so like I'll be in a country and I'll be like, I love it here. And I'll be asleep at 8:00 at night. And I'll be like, Jim, your show's in an hour. And I'm like, okay. But so I thought I had something because I was so run down. But I don't know. I mean, I'm in New York City and they say 1 in 4 people already had it. And I've got 5 kids, and
that is where you're it's scary as hell.
So by the way, so I think schools, I don't think they're going to send the little kids back to school because they're just germ grabbers. Do you know what I mean? So
well, they never learn cleanliness. They don't know by nature.
Of
from
course,
toddler until 11, your sleeve is snot, and you sneeze on everything. You don't cover your mouth, and to cover your mouth or your nose, then your hands in jeopardy. All scientists taught us is to wash our hands. That's all. That's all they've taught us, and stay away from other people. Which some people have lived like that forever.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so fascinating. So what is the most interesting piece of information you've discovered through doing this show?
I have something that I wanted to do from the very beginning, which was to call people. And I didn't have, because I'm doing it. I wasn't at home doing this. I did 2 days in the studio, and that's where I thought I was going to be doing my podcast. And then that stopped, and I came home. They brought me the whole kit. I got the thing. I could do a disco. I could run a disco right here. And then I put a phone number up, and it's always on, and it's up in the Apple menu, and people can call that number, and I tell them on Instagram and Twitter I'll be calling like say Friday between 1 and 4 Pacific time, and I'll be calling you guys, and I'll do 2 episodes, maybe 3, maybe 1, and I'll talk to people. And they know that I'm calling between those times, so people are hoping I call them. And I've got a list of people, and I'll call somebody, and they'll be like, "Bob, how's it going?" And that's where that relationship that a comedian has with their with their friends, their fans, their
or peers, or like-minded people.
Like-minded people, and they get you. They get you.
Yeah.
They're already ready to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's no different how this conversation started. It's like there's nothing that has to be set up, and then they'll tell me either really funny stuff, and they'll be stoned, or oh, it's Bob, I gotta light up,
Right.
or my mom doesn't believe I'm talking to you. Talk to my mom. And the nicest thing, Jim, is you just made my day. You made my day, Bob. This is the best thing that's happened to me all day. I lost my job, and then you hear all the stuff, and I'm going like, wow, is this Grapes of Wrath? What is going on? Where are we? And and they always say if you can just make one person happy, then you're not a very good comedian.
Right.
but I
you
get
better
to
hope
talk.
that person makes a lot of money and really likes you, or really likes seeing you.
Exactly. Let that person be, I don't know, Jeff Bezos? I don't know. Free Amazon for life. But that's what makes me feel really good. And I get, like, I'll be done doing the conversations with friends or with people I don't know. And then it'll be so emotional that I'll go sit with Kelly, and I'll just sit down and have to detox a little bit because I was emotionally so moved by what they're going through, and that it meant so much for them to hear from me. And I don't take that lightly. And I think you find out who the people are that are doing it for self-serving reasons, and we're just made that way.
Right.
So this is what we do during a pandemic. We try to reach out as much as we can, and you try not to accidentally kill one of your children.
Yeah, that's the task.
What's the food? There's got to be more food humor coming out of this than you've ever imagined in your life.
Well, the biggest insight is that I never was someone who would cook. And so I came up with this silly cooking show called Let's Get Cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, the premise is this guy who doesn't know how to cook, who acts like he's kind of a combination of Bobby Flay. These master chefs are impressive, but what they're doing is not, they're just filling time in between putting ingredients. Like, I love Rachel Ray, but some of why we like Rachel Ray is because she's sweet and engaging. And so I kind of, the character I'm playing in Let's Get Cooking is a little bit of Chris Cuomo and a little bit of Bobby Flay, but much more of a bigger ego than those guys. And just, I love the YouTube because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like one episode's 5 minutes, another episode's 12 minutes. It's just a creative outlet. So, and it really is pretty much since my bachelor days, the only cooking I've ever done. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of pasta. And
it's a lot of pasta.
It's a lot of beige food.
It is a lot of beige food. And so because we do dinner with the Gaffigans, sometimes restaurants or food companies will send us food, and we're also raising money for the front line. And so we'll say,
you're doing, I want to say it, the imaginesociety.org.
Yeah.
And people can give to that.
Yeah. That started, my wife started that with some of her friends and some teens to combine all these teen youth groups. And they, when the pandemic started, because we have friends, because of my wife's brain tumor in the medical community in New York City, we did this pivot to, obviously we were all panicked about getting them PPE, which we've gotten them through people's donations, but also getting them meals. So like when people go in for a shift or they leave the hospital, there is a food truck there, which, as you know, sometimes, on productions here in New York City, there were these food trucks that would show up occasionally as a celebratory thing when you're shooting something. And so we're hiring those food trucks to feed breakfast, or like people have the overnight. And it's like, these people on the front line, I can only fathom. I mean, we've all seen some of what they're dealing with. So like they get a grilled cheese, or they get a cheese steak, when they're walking out. So it's like that's one thing off their to-do list. It's not the biggest solution. It's not a ventilator, but it is something. And it's fun because we raise the money on Dinner with the Gaffigans, and then my wife and some of our friends, we kind of coordinate these food trucks. It's pretty amazing. It feels good to do something. It's not as important as some of the other stuff, but and then we know people at food pantries, so we'll be like, look, we got to get food to this food pantry in New York. Like there used to be 20, and then I think there's only 5 now, and there's people that are, they need food. So,
and I'm trying to give as much as I can to American Red Cross, the COVID branch. I mean, I've been doing a lot of Food Bank of New York and LA Food Bank, but the whole country is, and some places aren't affected. They can't relate to this conversation. And the scary part is they might get affected because people are saying eventually everybody's going to get it. I mean,
yeah,
but I don't know.
I hope they do. I hope nobody has to go through. I wouldn't wish this kind of situation on, anyone. Right.
Well, wait a minute. There's a couple evil people in the world. You're that good a man.
Yeah, or maybe someone like, Harvey Weinstein. Maybe he should be
he looks like he's got something at this point.
You know what I mean? He should be quarantined, I guess. But otherwise, like if you're a rapist or a murderer, maybe you should be quarantined. Right. They should have like a building that just has criminals in it. They could call it like a prison,
Are you suggesting release COVID-19 in that building?
No.
See, I got to ask you something. Late at night, do you ever just all of a sudden just start cursing for like 5 minutes and just get it out?
Oh yeah, no, I curse all the time. It's like, and I've got 7 and 8-year-olds so I've got a 14-year-old son who is in full teen mopey teen mode, and understandably he's, these kids are dealing with this too,
Yeah.
And so he does a fair amount of cursing. And so then the 7 and the 8-year-old do it too. And I'm like, it's like it's like parenting is all kind of like trial and error. What worked on one kid doesn't work on another one. You're like, all right, if I tell them not to curse, then they will curse. And, it's like most of our friends that do stand up, every other word that comes out of their mouth is a curse word. I really don't care. But like, I don't want an 8-year-old.
Right. I don't want my kids. I would not want my kids to talk like that. And I never talked like that around my kids. My stand-up has gone through waves where I do it more, and then right now I was about to go out with this. Oh my God, what's happening? He's not cursing. Why is he like this? Because I morph, Comedians are always kind of evolving, that's what's so great about it is like we set these self-assignments, it's like, I'm going to tell more stories this time. I'm going to be more honest or vulnerable, or I'm going to, that's why I'm going to
show it. I'm going to show a darker side,
and in your case, it's a whole 5-minute hunk about your nipples on your knees. That's pierced.
Right. Which have names. They each have a name.
What are their names?
Bob and Saget. I hope that doesn't make you uncomfortable.
Not at all, because when you put your legs together, I'm complete.
Yeah.
And I like
and you like
best
it when I put you in a leg hold. You like that. Because then it's like Bob Saget, and then Saget.
It's an homage.
It's an homage.
Well, Jim, I just send you all the best of getting through all this, and you're doing so much good for so many people.
Oh, well, thanks, buddy. It's good talking to you. And you say hey to your wife and your kids.
I will. And give my love to Jeannie and to all of your kids. Your mopey teenager will like me probably the best.
Okay.
I think.
You got it.
Although Jeannie likes me because I wish I could hug her. You're a lucky man. She's
well, thank you.
An amazing woman. I'm sure she loves all the beige food you're cooking.
Yeah, it's the best. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Be safe. Okay. Look forward to seeing you.
Thanks so much. Now time to get ready for dinner with the Gaffigans.
All right, everybody, get ready. Go right to it.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Be well, man. Talk to you later.
See ya. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Well, that's Jim Gaffigan. That was Jim Gaffigan, the amazing, wonderful guy who is funny and loving and doesn't love one of his kids more than the others, which is really good. It sounds subjective how much he loves his kids. He is so damn funny. I just love him. And when it's time to get out there again, and people can go out and watch shows, you have to all over the world go see Jim Gaffigan perform, because you will just feel better about a lot of things. And I know he'll be talking about this time, as a lot of us will be. So thank you for listening to another episode. I hope it made you feel good to hear Jim. A lot of comedians, when they talk, that you find out they're pretty serious. He's just such a good guy. Isn't that wonderful? When people aren't just like assholes and they're not putting on a thing to do. I'm a total dick. When this is done, I just start yelling and screaming and breaking stuff. Anyway, you got to do things they tell me to do. You got to subscribe to this, and you got to rate and review it. And that's a 5-star. That's the answer to that. And then review, you're the best, Bob. That's pretty much what you write. Sometimes people put like weird, odd, like just, they just hit the keypad on their little phone and put little, it's like a raccoon grabbed it and just started typing stuff and then sent it as a comment. But try not to do that. But rate, review, and subscribe. And we'll be back with another really meaningful episode of Bob Saget's Here For You. Because I am, and that's me. And there you go. All right, I am a groomed man. I like to be not hairless, but I'm not a hairy guy. Okay, I'm not like smooth skin, shaved like some guys that go swimming and they don't want to get. My friend Dave Coulier used to say he shaves his balls for biking, and my joke was always, "What do you bike backwards with your ass in the air?" I don't understand it, but I understand it's nice to be clean like a whistle. So you could actually whistle out of your butt. If you could, you'd be on, America's Got Talent. But the thing I'm interested in is the Weed Whacker. This is a new product, and it's from Manscaped. And I've talked about Manscaped before. It's nice to be groomed. It's nice to look nice to feel smooth. Late at night, if you're scratching, your fingernail can get snagged on some hairs. You don't want that. You want it all clean and groomed and nice for your mate or for yourself. It doesn't matter. What if you go to bed with a little squirrel or an armadillo or something? Anyway, there is a new ear hair trimmer. You heard me. Back that up. Exactly. It's amazing. You take a look in that mirror and you're going to see ears with hair. That's what you're going to see. Not all over your face, just where your ears are. And in my sleep, I will do it. I'm an idiot. I will put my fingers in my ears and I will pull out hairs. He loves me not. And I'll throw them on the carpet. It doesn't get any grosser. What am I doing? And then I have to vacuum, and I do that because, I did it on TV for years. So you got to do something when you see those hairs sticking out of those holes. You don't want hairs out of your holes, even if your belly button's got hair sticking out of it. You could use this same weed whacker. I don't know if you should. I mean, maybe you could you don't want to hurt where you were originally cut away from your mom. That little hole's kind of meaningful historically. But it's time to keep your ear and nose hair looking as nice as your clean-shaven pubes. And you could tell that to your mom and tell her I said it. But it is painful to pull a hair out of your nose or out of your ear. And you need help. And the way to get help is that weed whacker. Manscaped has forever changed the grooming game with the weed whacker. And how can you come up with a better name than that? I mean, I even talked to my landscaper about it, to use it on my yard. Actually not. I told him to use it on himself. I can't stand looking at him anymore. He's got so much curly stuff coming out of him. And he liked it. He was happy I did it. In fact, I did it for him. I laid him down on the grass and we spooned, and I weed whacked his ears and his nose, and he's a happy man. And here's the thing. The nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. How happy would all of you be if you could say those words that I just said? Nicks, snags, tugs, and those delicate holes. And I used to say in my stand-up that you be careful late at night. You could go out, walk by a drawer, and you could snag your bag or nick your bag. And I said, that's my new name in Vegas, Nick Bag. So if you see that on a marquee, that's Bob Saget, Nick Bag. But that's not true. But it was in my stand-up. But the premium Manscaped, to get back to the subject, weed whacker, say it with me, weed whacker, it uses a 9,000 RPM motor. I know you wanted to know what the RPMs were, 9,000. And it's powered by 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Do you understand? There's a 360-degree rotary dual blade system. It goes round and round and round in your ear, in your nose. And this amazing weed whacker is waterproof. So just in case your ears just spew water like a fountain, which is possible. If you're sitting on a rainbird, it squirts up your butthole, you spin in a circle, and water's shooting out of your ears and you're flying around. The weed whacker will make sure they got to clean out for that water. And it makes it easier for operation and for cleaning because it's waterproof, for God's sakes. And the only nose hair trimmer, this is the only one on the market with a powerful and rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use. 90 minutes. You can stand in front of the mirror, stick that thing, that Manscaped weed whacker, in your ear or in your nose for 90 minutes straight. Even once you got it all clean and wax finished, you can just leave it in there and just do that. And you'll have the happiest 90 minutes that you've ever had. And this is a cool thing. You got to remember this. Just remember, 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET, S-A-G-E-T, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code SAGET. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds. All right, so this is an unusual time in all of our lives, and this is a product that can really help you through this time. For all of our sakes, we need to avoid crowds any way we can right now. And it's been a difficult time, and I feel for all of you. But what if you need to go to the post office? And that's important. We do need to go. And what if you need postage to send out letters and packages? You don't have to worry anymore because Stamps.com is here to help. It's a really good product. I use it. I love it. It's Stamps.com, and you can print postage on demand, and you skip those lines and crowds at the post office. And plus, you actually save some money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office. And if that wasn't enough, Stamps.com also offers UPS services with discounts up to 62% and no UPS residential surcharges. This is a big deal here. This is something that is incredibly practical and necessary because you want to communicate with the world and you want to send that postcard or you want to send that package. And Stamps.com brings all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your computer in the safety and comfort of your own home, office, or anywhere else you're hunkering down right now. Whether you're in a small business sending invoices, an online seller shipping out products, or you're just working from home and need to mail stuff, Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. And once your mail is ready, just leave it for your mail carrier or schedule a free package pickup or drop it in a mailbox. There's no human contact required because it's that simple. And like I said, Stamps.com, you get great discounts too. 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 62% off shipping rates. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, especially now, and saving you time and money and keeping you safe in these crazy times. So right now, I want my listeners to know that they can get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Bob, B-O-B. I don't know how we came up with it, but just type that in there. That's Stamps.com and enter Bob. And stay safe, my friends.